Alright, this is Mr. Koga. We're here with distance learning video number 9. Can't believe we made it to number 9. I think I say that every single video. Can't believe we made it to the next one. Can't believe we made it to the next one. Alright, anyway, so we're going to do 4 things in this video per usual. The first thing we're going to do is another edition of Which One Doesn't Belong. So we're gonna do another Which One Doesn't Belong. Got some really cool images and things for you to compare and decide which one doesn't belong with. So should have a lot of fun with that one. Number 2 is we're gonna be drawing 3D shapes, but today we're gonna draw some shapes we did last time, but we're also gonna include some new ones, and we're gonna be doing some shading because that really makes images pop and gives it a lot of depth if you shade it correctly. Number 3 is the one we've all been waiting for. I think last week Thursday I challenged you guys to make your own COVID-19 protection suits based on that image that I showed you, the guy at Costco or at Lowe's, and he had the pool noodles hanging off. I'll actually put an image of it right here. Boop. But I made my own COVID-19 protection suit, and I'm gonna show it to you, and hopefully you can send your design to your teacher and just say, hey, this is what I did, and I'm sure your teacher will be super happy. If you're in my class, I'm gonna put a link in our Google Classroom to our Flipgrid where you can record a video of yourself explaining your COVID-19 protection suit and all of its awesome features. All right, number 4 is gonna be the last thing, and it's gonna be a read aloud about fractions. Love fractions, love math. Math is everywhere. Math is all around this garden. It's all around you, wherever you are. So be on the lookout for fractions, all right? Okay, and a quick update. These videos take a long time to make, man. This video is probably gonna take me a few hours, maybe 4, 5, 6, 7 hours, maybe even 8 hours, who knows? But yeah, they take a long time to make, so unfortunately I'm so busy with my students and my class and my family and my baby that I'll only be able to make 1 video per week now. So every Thursday, a new distance learning video is coming at you. It's all I can manage right now. It's a lot on my plate. So hope you can understand. Anyway, we're having tons of fun making these videos. I'm glad you guys are actually watching them and learning from them, getting tons of really good feedback from parents and teachers all over the place. So yeah, keep watching them and keep tuning in. All right, let's go to the next segment. It's time for another edition of Which One Doesn't Belong? Which one doesn't belong? You gotta look at the images and then decide which one doesn't belong. Alright, that's my corny theme song. I'm gonna make it happen. That theme song is gonna catch on, I swear. Okay, first one. Here we go. No numbers, no math really, but there is something to be said here about these 4 images. So what I'd like for you to do is look at these 4 images and decide which one doesn't belong. As usual, there are no correct answers, there are no wrong answers. As long as you can defend your thought or you can justify your reasoning, then you have a shot, you have a chance of being right. And who cares if you're wrong? Because what's the worst that's going to happen? Nothing. All right, so I'll give you, go ahead and pause the video. I'll count down to 5. If you want to pause the video right now, pause it, have a little discussion with your family or someone next to you, brother, sister, auntie, uncle, grandma, grandpa, mom, dad, anybody. Go yell at the mailman if he's outside your door, but don't go too close to him. Yell at him from across the way out your window. All right? Alright, moving on to the next. Which one doesn't belong? Oh, we got a good one for you today. We got some money here. Alright, so now we have some math coming in, some numbers, some symbols. So what we have here are 4 different kinds of coins, and I put a little chart here in case you're still learning how much each coin is worth. So I'll point it out for you. The pennies are right here. The nickels are right here, and they're worth 5 cents each. The dimes are right here. These are worth 10 cents each. And the quarter is right here, and they're worth 25 cents each. Okay, so go ahead and discuss with someone near you and tell them this one doesn't belong because blah de blah de blah. Okay? Alright, so I'll give you a 5-second countdown, and before I give you this 5-second countdown, just think about this. You may have friends out there who are just playing video games all day. You may have friends out there who aren't doing anything but just sitting around, just hanging out at home. But at least you are doing something with your brain. You're looking at these images and you're thinking about something. You're thinking about, oh, a penny's worth 1 cent, that's right. And that might lock into your brain forever from now on. But you're thinking about stuff and you're trying to, just doing some mental exercises that are going to help you to be stronger and smarter. Just think about that. While everyone else is sitting on the couch doing nothing, you're taking steps ahead. You're becoming smarter. You're becoming more aware, a better critical thinker. Okay? So 5 seconds. We're gonna pause it. Have a discussion. All right, here we go. All right, so the last one for today is this guy with some familiar looking shapes. We got the cube up in the top left. Oh, didn't teach you about this one yet, but there is a name for this. You know how this one is called a rectangular prism because it's made of rectangles? What's that shape right here? Triangle. So guess what this is called? Triangular prism. Bingo. Okay, triangular prism. We got the rectangular prism as we just said, and then we got the cylinder. So when you have your discussion about these shapes, what I love is if you could use some math vocabulary. And what I mean by that is words like faces, edges, vertices. If you use words like this and they just become a part of you, a part of the conversation, and you just kind of, you use them outside of math class, then you might see them all over the place. You might see them in the world. Because again, these shapes do not just live during math time. It's not like you have math class and then you leave math class and these go away forever. This is all over the world, okay? So have a discussion about them. 5 seconds. All right. I think that's the only one I made. Yep, that's the old one. Okay, so that's which one doesn't belong for today, April 30th. Have a good one. See you in the next segment. Alright, welcome back friends. This is Mr. Koga and we are here with more drawing of 3D shapes. Alright, so today we're going to draw a couple of shapes from last time. So if you haven't seen the last video about how to draw cubes and rectangles, you might want to go back and watch that video again or for the first time. But if you haven't watched it, you can kind of just catch on and just watch what I'm doing and you'll probably be able to do it yourself. Alright, so we're going to draw the cube from last time where you can't see all the lines. So let me show you the difference. So this cube, you can see all the lines. It's like a see-through cube, right? You can see all the lines in that cube. But with this cube that I'm going to draw next, you don't see all the lines. So it looks very, very 3D. Like this. So you see how the difference between this cube and this cube, all the lines are visible. Only the lines that you're kind of looking at are visible with this one, okay? All right, so what we're gonna do today is we're gonna learn a little bit about shading. And with shading, all you really need is a pencil to do this, so it's gonna be very simple. All right, so let's draw maybe this cube and then let's draw a rectangular prism also. Say prism, prism also. So again, the way to do this is you draw the shape that you want, and then off of each corner, you make a line and you follow the exact same angle from all the lines. So if one of them is slanted over like this much, it has to match on all sides or else it'll look kind of funky. Here, I'll try and even draw a different one that the lines are going the opposite direction. I'll draw it going this way. And you just gotta visualize it in your head. That wasn't the nicest rectangular prism, but you just gotta visualize it in your head. Okay, I'm just gonna draw a cube the opposite way too. Or let's draw a cube. You see how this one kind of comes down like this? Let's make one that looks like it's popping up. There, now it's popping up. Okay, so all you'll need is a pencil. I'll use a color pencil just so you can see it a little better. And let's use green. Okay, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna shade all of the visible faces. So there's 3 visible faces on this cube. And you're gonna shade them all different colors. Not really different colors, but different lightness and darkness, okay? So the front, let's try a very light coloring, okay? Just very light. And then the sides, let's get a little bit darker on this side. So just press a little harder. That. And then press really hard on top. like that. Okay, so we have a really dark side, a kind of dark side, and a light side. So on this one, let's try and do it a little bit different. Maybe we'll do the bottom really dark. Like maybe the light is shining from the top of this cube. Like maybe the light is like right up here. So imagine that's a light bulb and it's shining this way. So this face is kind of facing the light, so it'll be very light because the light is bouncing off of it. But the other two faces are kind of in the dark, they're in the shadow, so they'd be a lot darker. So again, this side I'm gonna do it pretty dark, but not as dark as the very bottom. Just so there's some contrast between those, okay? All right, let's get a different color out. Orange. Okay, so for same thing for this one, one of the faces we're gonna color very nice and light. One of them will color pretty dark. And then the last face we're gonna color very dark. And only thing I'm changing between all these faces is how hard I'm pressing. And one coloring technique is, look, I'm not coloring all the way up to the edge, but then I go back and then I fill in the edge. Ah, not bad. Okay, let's try to do this last rectangular prism. And make this part really dark. This part medium dark. And this front part very light. So if you look at all of our shapes that we've drawn so far, they actually, the coloring and shading adds a lot of texture and depth to the shape. So this is a very, very good technique if you're trying to draw different things. All right, so you could even, if you want, this is a little more advanced technique. So let's say that there's a light right back here and it's shining out here, okay? So if you want to make the shadow, all you have to do is kind of just recreate the lines that we talked about earlier, where you draw them all at the same angle, like that, and you just color it in a little bit. And look, now the light is shining from behind this figure and is casting a shadow. So let's try this one. So again, I'll draw all of the lines to the same angle, and I'll just lightly color it in because shadows are not like super dark, depending on where you see them. So we even added some shadows to them. Okay, let's see. If we're talking about shading, another 3D object we can draw is a sphere, and you can accomplish that by shading. So if you look at a ball typically has shadowing. So if, let's say the light is up here, and you always, that's one thing about art too, figure out where's the light coming from. So if the light is coming from up here, this part is gonna be very light. This part's gonna be super dark because this is out of the range of the light, okay? So I'm gonna start very dark over here. And then slowly, I'm gonna lift up my pencil and go lighter and lighter and lighter until I pretty much stop coloring, okay? And again, in here you can come in and just fill in this area, but be careful not to color in the light side very dark, because once you touch that light side with the dark mark, it's very hard to get that effect back again. So I'm gonna come in here real dark. There we go. And then let's get this transition, this change to be a little less dramatic, okay? Oop. So see right there, you see how I touched that really dark? I can never go back again unless I have like a really good eraser. Okay, so let's try a sphere one more time. It's really hard to draw a perfect circle. That's okay. All right, so now let's say the light is coming from the side here, like that. So if the light's coming from this side, which one would be dark? The side closest to the ball, or closest to the light, or the side farthest from the light? This is just like something that I know everyone, if you're first grader up, I know you studied this, the moon. Imagine this is the sun shining and this is the moon or earth, because that's how you get night and day. So if it's dark on this side of the Earth, or moon. Then the other side will be lighter. And technically, this whole half should be dark, dark, dark. And maybe like super dark over here. Because the light goes like this. Okay? So it touches everything up until about this line right here. Everything beyond that is cast in a shadow because of the way the ball is. So now I'm gonna start lifting my pencil, getting lighter, lighter, less pressure, lighter, and the very end, I wouldn't even touch the very end, because when that white, if you don't touch it, it'll stay white. If you touch it, it'll never go white again, unless you have a really good eraser. Okay, so let me just fill in. All right, so there's a little lesson in 3D shapes and shading. Hope you have fun with it. Hiya! 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 Gloves! Hiya! Broomstick! Hiya! Hiya! Alright, this is Mr. Koga. I'm gonna take this part off just to explain the suit. Here is my COVID-19 protection suit. Yes, it's silly, but like I said, if it's silly and it works, not so silly. Alright, so first piece is the respirator mask. This will protect you from any airborne germs or any sneezes or coughs that may come your way. Perfect. Then we have the handheld utensils. The first one is the ultimate grabber. So this little guy can grab things so that you won't have to touch anything directly with your hands. Perfect. This little guy is actually a broomstick, but it is just about 6 feet long, so that you can whack away or push away anyone who does not want to social distance or doesn't know how to social distance. Perfect tool, simple yet effective. All right, next we have secret pouches, as you can see. I'll show you the back one first. The first one, wipes, disinfecting wipes, so you can wipe down any surface that you may come into contact with. Also, I'll show you the gloves now because this is getting hard to hold stuff with. I have my gloves so that you keep your hands nice and clean. You don't have to touch any dirty surfaces that have been contaminated by COVID-19. All right, now for the front pouch. Front pouch, we have a nice handy dandy disinfectant spray, Lysol brand. Also, we have our handy dandy travel size Purell hand sanitizer. Always carry this with you. Never leave the house without it. We also have eye protection. In the event that you may come into contact with someone who is infected with coronavirus or COVID-19, if someone sneezes in your face and you have your respirator and you have your eye protection on, those germs are not coming in contact with you. All right, last thing, my hazmat suit. This is actually an old Halloween costume, but it's perfect because I can take this costume off at the end of the day, throw it directly into the washer or burn it, up to you, and I'm totally germ-free when I come back to my house. All right, so that's Mr. Koga's COVID-19 protection suit. I hope you guys designed your own, and feel free to send pictures to your teachers. If you're in my class, check the Flipgrid link and post up the Flipgrid. All right, have fun with it. Greetings, friends. This is Mr. Koga. I'm gonna scoot over a little bit. Oh no, maybe I'm not. Lighting is not good there. And this is Mr. Koga, and I'm here with another Read-Aloud. Today's Read-Aloud is actually a math-based book. It's actually called Fractions. by Sarah Pistoia. So this book is important because I love fractions. I have a deep, deep love of fractions because fractions are not just in math. Fractions are all around us in plants. They're in nature. They're in cars. They're in food. They're in like your bathroom. They're everywhere. So the reason why I wanted to read this book is because I wanted you to try to view fractions as something that doesn't just live in math, but something that lives in the world. Okay? All right, so let's jump into it. Fractions. People everywhere use fractions. Fractions show how many parts of something make up the whole. Fractions can help us be fair when we share. That is the number one saying in my class when we talk about fractions. When you cut something into equal parts, it has to be fair. So when you talk about fractions and like equal parts, you say when you share, it has to be fair. Because that just puts in your mind that you have to cut something perfectly into equal parts, or else it's not really a fraction. All right, the candy bar is a whole. Let's cut it in two. Right down the middle. Now there are two equal parts. Each part is a fraction called 1/2. 1/2 plus 1/2 equals 1 whole. You probably already knew that. 4 friends have a pie for dessert. How can they share it? This way isn't very fair. If you look at that, would you want the 2 end pieces? Maybe if you like crust a lot, you'd like the 2 end pieces. But even if you look, there's like 4 pieces, but the 2 pieces on the inside are humongous. This way is better. Each friend gets 1/4 of the pie. The pie is cut into fair shares. It has 4 equal parts, so everyone gets an equal piece. So when they say 1/4, that, or 1 out of 4, that's basically what they're saying. You're getting 1 out of the 4 total. If you took 1 out of the 4, there'll be 3 left over. So if you have your 1 plus the 3 left over, that makes 4, which would give you a whole pie. Here are some other foods cut into parts. The pizza is cut into 3 equal parts. Each part is 1/3. This apple is cut into 2 equal parts. Each part is 1/2. This pear is cut into 2 parts that are not equal. Neither part is 1/2. And some people might argue you kind of cut it in half, but if you're really being like you're following the rules about what fractions and half means, that's not 1/2. Remember, a fraction must have equal parts. When you share, be fair. Use fractions. Oh my god, it's like this book is reading my mind. Like I totally say all this kind of stuff. Fractions can be equal parts of a group too. You could share this group of 6 cookies with 2 friends. Don't forget yourself, right? We have a math problem on our math test that's just like that. You and 2 friends want to share a pizza. How many pizzas or how many pieces should you cut it into and how should you cut it? Something like that. So you can take either one thing and cut it into multiple pieces to share it, or you can take a bunch of things and divide them into equal groups to share it. So there's the dividing of a single thing or the dividing of many things into separate groups. If you divide the cookies into 3 equal parts, each friend can have 2 cookies. Each person's share is 1/3 of the whole pile. So in this way, you don't have one cookie, 3 piles of 1 cookie. You have 3 piles of 2 cookies. And each pile is 1/3 of the entire pile of cookies. When bakers make cookies, they use fractions. They use 1 whole egg. They use 1 whole cup of flour. But the rest of the ingredients are fractions. 1/2 cup of sugar, 1/4 cup of butter, 1.5 teaspoons of salt. Or 1/2 teaspoon, not 1 1/2. Ooh, that's another tricky one too. 1/2 teaspoon means half of a teaspoon. 1.5 teaspoons means a whole teaspoon plus another half. Here are some other fractions. 1/4 of these flowers is pink. What fractions of the flowers is yellow? So if 1/4, you kind of subtract it. So if you have 1/4 is pink, then you subtract 1 from 4 to get 3. So you have 3/4 left over, which are yellow. You can use words and pictures to talk about fractions. You can use numerals too. 1/4 equals 1/4. Or 1/4. There's a lot of different ways to write 1/4. You can write 1 diagonal 4 or 1/4. They all mean the same thing. So if 1/4 of the blocks are yellow, 3/4 are red. We often use numerals to show fractions. So numerals means numbers. The bottom numeral or bottom number shows how many parts are in the whole thing, or how many groups we're talking about here. The top numeral or number shows how many parts we're talking about. So the stoplight has 3 parts. One light is on, the other 2 are off. So 1/3 of the stoplight is on, 2/3 of the stoplight is off. Very good. Here are 10 bowling pins. A ball knocks down 5 pins. 5 pins are still standing. What fraction of the pins fell down? So there are 2 equal parts. 5 pins standing, 5 pins have fallen. So each part is half of the whole. So you remember your fractions. So remember your fractions. Be fair when you share. Your friends will know just how much you care. Oh, that's a good one. I might steal that one. Be fair when you share to let your friends know you care. That's a good one. All right. Well, that's about it for this book. That was actually a really good book. So what I would love for you to do is just, you don't have to write anything down, or just, you don't have to like do anything for this. But what I want you to do is just go take a trip over to your kitchen. And I want you to look at stuff and just look for these things that we're talking about. Halves, quarters, 1/4, 1/3. Maybe the next time you have a sandwich, see if you can cut it into fourths. Next time you have an apple, see if you can cut it into halves. Or if you have a pizza, see if you can cut into thirds. Thirds is the trickiest if you're cutting a circle. If you're cutting something that's a rectangle, easy peasy. You cut it top to bottom or side to side, like that. But if you're cutting a pizza, you have to cut it in like a Y shape. It's a weird one. All right, well, that's our video for today. Again, go into your kitchen, try to find some food that you can turn into fractions. It's so much fun. And again, fractions do not just live in math. Fractions live in the world. See it like that. Don't see it like you're in math land. All right, have a good one and enjoy this new video while you watch the end credits roll. All right, peace. Mr. Coco's out.